Have you ever wondered if a crack on an ancient ceramic vase is truly a discarded flaw, or if it is the only opening through which light can seep in and illuminate the space within? In this life, we often find ourselves relentlessly chasing standards of perfection, only to torment ourselves over flaws we consider fatal weaknesses. But stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and listen to the story I am about to tell you, a story of darkness, light, and the miraculous journey of a crooked tree to understand that sometimes the very things you reject are the most precious gifts bestowed by the divine. The story begins in a small village nestled against a mountainside where mist covers the land year-round and temple bells echo every morning and evening. There lived a young boy who was not as fortunate as other children. He was born unable to see the sunlight. His world was a dense, thick blackness, devoid of shapes and colors. Yet, more terrifying than the darkness before his eyes was the coldness in people's hearts. The villagers, who considered themselves normal and perfect, often looked at him with pitying eyes or even mockery. They called him a burden, a useless person, a mistake of creation. Those words were sharper than knives, cutting into his innocent soul day after day, hour after hour. The boy often sat huddled on the stone steps leading to the ancient temple at the mountain peak, listening to the footsteps of passers-by. He heard the laughter of children his age as they chased one another, heard the farmers boasting of a bumper crop, and most painfully, heard the whispers about his own redundancy. He felt like a stray grain of dust in the vast universe, without purpose or value. Despair grew like a heavy boulder on his chest, making him wish only to vanish into nothingness. He wondered why he was born only to endure this punishment. One afternoon, as the sunset descended, dyeing the world in a purple hue that he could only sense through the chill of the mountain mist, the boy buried his head in his knees and sobbed bitterly. His mournful, pained cries echoed through a corner of the forest. At that moment, the head monk of the temple, a man with eyes as bright as stars and a smile as gentle as water, quietly stepped toward him. He said nothing, simply sat down and placed a warm hand on the boy's shoulder, transmitting a sense of peaceful warmth. After a long while, when the boy's sobs had subsided, the monk spoke in a deep, warm voice. "My son, what causes your heart such great pain?" The boy turned his sightless eyes toward the voice and choked out, "Master, I am a useless person. I see nothing. I cannot farm, I cannot hunt, and I cannot help anyone. Everyone is right. I am a broken tree, a discarded product of life. Why must I live when I only bring a burden to others?" The monk remained silent for a moment, the wind rustling through the Bodhi leaves like the sigh of the earth and sky. Then he spoke slowly. "Listen to a story I have to tell. It is said that deep in an ancient forest there were many grand trees, their trunks straight and reaching for the heavens. They took pride in their flawless beauty, their sturdy wood, and their majestic appearance. But tucked away among those giants was a strange tree. Its trunk was crooked and gnarled, and its branches grew wildly in no particular order. It looked pathetic and ugly. The boy listened in silence, feeling as though the monk was describing him. The monk continued, "Every year, woodcutters would come into the forest. Carrying axes and saws, their eyes would light up as they searched for the straightest, most beautiful trunks. They marveled at those perfect trees. This one is perfect for a temple pillar. That one has wood fine enough for a ship. This other one will make luxurious furniture." And then, stroke after stroke of the axe fell. The straight, proud trees fell one by one in pain. They were cut down, carved up, and taken far from the forest to serve human purposes. The boy shuddered, imagining the scene. The monk lowered his voice, becoming more pensive. When the woodcutters passed by the crooked tree, they stopped, looked at it, and curled their lips in a sneer. "This tree is useless. The trunk is bent, the wood is full of knots, and the branches are twisted. Cutting it down would be a waste of effort. It's good for nothing." With that, they left, leaving the ugly tree standing alone. Initially, the tree felt very self-pitying. It cried because it felt inferior to its peers, because it was mocked as useless. But do you know, as the years passed, generation after generation of straight trees were felled. Only that crooked tree remained standing firm. The monk paused to let the boy reflect, then continued. Because it was considered useless, no one bothered it. It grew and grew, its lush foliage spreading shade over an entire area. Birds flocked to build nests on its sturdy, twisted branches. Weary travelers stopped under its canopy to rest and find peace. That tree lived for hundreds of years, becoming the sacred spirit of the forest, witnessing the ups and downs of the world. The crookedness and ugliness that people mocked were actually the protective amulets that saved it from the cruel axe. What people called a flaw was, in truth, the strength that protected it. The boy sat in silence. The story was like a cool stream flowing into his withered soul. The monk stroked his head and said, "My son, you are just like that crooked tree. Your eyes that cannot see the light may be seen by the world as a disability, a misfortune. But look deeper into the nature of things. Those villagers have bright eyes and take pride in their wholeness. But because their eyes are always turned outward, they are preoccupied with comparing, envying, and judging. They see your exterior but are blind to your pain and your soul. Their perfection is an illusion. They may be physically whole, but they are severely deficient in compassion and kindness." The monk emphasized every word. Comparing yourself to others is the poison that kills your soul. It prevents you from realizing the unique purpose the universe has entrusted to you. You do not see the outside world full of temptation and pretense. That may be a protection to keep your soul pure. When one sense closes, others open more powerfully. You may not see with physical eyes, but you have inner vision. You can hear the wind telling stories, feel the heartbeat of the person across from you, and see things that those with sight can never perceive. The monk's teachings were like a lighthouse illuminating the boy's mind. He realized that for too long he had used other people's rulers to measure his own value. He had wasted time suffering because he wasn't a straight tree, when he could completely be an ancient tree providing shade in his own way. From that day on, the boy changed. He no longer sat crying or hiding. He began to focus on what he had rather than what he lacked. He listened. He listened to the stream flowing and imagined the journey of water from the mountain crevices to the great sea. He listened to the birds singing and wove stories about kingdoms in the clouds. He felt the sadness in the voices of temple visitors and understood their inner thoughts. And then he began to tell stories. At first, it was just a few curious children who lingered to hear him murmur. But then, his stories, nourished by a rich imagination and the deep sensitivity of one who lived in darkness, became incredibly vivid. He told of lands where no one had ever set foot, of the courage of small people, of love and forgiveness. His voice was warm and expressive, touching the hearts of his listeners. The villagers who once mocked him now began to stop. They sat around him, listening in silence. They realized that although they had bright eyes, they had never seen the beauty of life the way this blind boy described it. They saw the mountain, but the boy helped them feel the soul of the mountain. They saw the river, but the boy helped them hear the song of the river. His disability had become a priceless gift. He was no longer a useless blind person. He became the storyteller of the soul. His stories soothed pains, healed rifts in the hearts of the villagers, and taught them lessons about appreciation. The boy had turned his greatest weakness into his greatest strength. He became the crooked tree spreading peaceful shade for the entire village, a position that no one, no matter how healthy or wealthy, could replace. He realized that the value of a human being does not lie in how much they are like others, but in how they dare to live truly with their own differences. Dear friends, the story of the visually impaired boy and the crooked tree sends us a powerful message about the value of uniqueness. In this life, no one is perfect, and no one is a discarded product. Each of us is born with a unique mission, a unique beauty that no one else can copy. The scars, the flaws, the stumbles, or the things that make you feel different are not reasons for self-deprecation. They are the marks that identify you among billions of people in this world. Never compare your first chapter to someone else's middle chapter. Do not try to bend yourself into a straight tree if your nature is the freedom and wildness of crooked branches. Accept yourself, love even the imperfections, and turn them into inner strength. Because the very place where you feel weakest is the place where you have the potential to become strongest. Remember, a beautiful painting needs both light and shadow. A great piece of music needs both high and low notes. You are a unique work of art of the universe. Live, contribute, and shine in your own way, using your inner vision and your heart full of love. Do not be afraid of being different. Be afraid of being merely a faint copy. Stand firm like the crooked tree in the ancient forest, proud, free, and sheltering life with all that you are. That is truly living a brilliant and priceless life.